So life nurtured by pure attitude. So purity is one of the greatest virtue. It's amazing. It's just not a virtue, but it's a power too. Because wherever there is purity, you enjoy that place, or when somebody who has purity in them, who are pure, pure intentions, pure thoughts, it's like as if they have, certain light around them. So your purity, the way you think, the way you see, your vision, the way your attitude is, it creates your personality. And so wherever there is purity, there is that happiness, because you feel light. When somebody is pure, you feel like bowing to them. You feel like being with them. Where there is impurity, we feel like running away, right? Impurity is like something we don't want to be. But I think we don't realize how much of impurity we have accumulated inside us. So they say it all begins, the personality, if we are talking about personality, or if we are talking about attitude, a pure attitude, it all begins from the consciousness. What kind of consciousness we all hold inside, that makes us, that brings that personality out. And so just check yourself, just see how much of cleanliness do you have? How is your consciousness? So when we talk about consciousness, this consciousness is our, our way of thinking, our thoughts, the way we understand things, our internal impressions of the soul, what we gather in the soul, in our being. So check yourself that, how much of cleanliness there is in the consciousness or in you. Do you feel clean about yourself? The moment you actually sit alone, do you feel that sort of, contentment? Because purity naturally brings contentment. That lightness. I'm content because I'm pure. Meaning I don't have any kind of dirt inside, any kind of manipulations inside. Any kind of impurity in my thoughts inside. So it's like when you look at yourself, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel there is something I need to still cleanse inside, clean inside? Or you are very clean? Or you're so clean that you sparkle? Your sparkle reaches others. It's like somebody looks at you, wow, Because when something is very clean, we say, wow, this is sparkling. This is sparkling clean, we say, right? And so it's talking about a pure attitude. It's like checking inside how much of that pure essence I have become, or how much of pure, that purity is inside myself, where I feel very good about my own self. So when we talk about purity in consciousness, pure thoughts, so that's why it's life nurtured by your pure attitude. So when you have purity, you're nurturing yourself. I remember Dadi Janki, who left the body, who was the spiritual resource, one of the heads of Brahma Kumaris. When she used to visit the meditation centers, or she used to go into the rooms, and because when anyone comes, we keep everything so neat, right? And then what we do, everything we take and we put it in our cupboards, in our closets, and we lock the closets, and everything outside is clean, but inside. And so what she used to do is she used to smile and she used to go and open the cupboards. So like the sisters used to go, oh no. So it was with fun she used to do. And so she used to look at the cupboard. What is this cupboard? So sometimes externally, we may wear clean clothes, and externally, we do a lot of makeup and, okay, beautiful, I cleanse my face so many times, all those things. But internally, what is in the closet of my mind? How did I arrange my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions in the closet of my mind? Are they arranged well? Is there cleanliness in my thoughts? So one of the things about keeping my thoughts clean is the awareness that I hold. So what is the awareness that I hold about myself? What sort of being I am? So one of the things that bring purity or creates purity, or purity emerges in me, is having the right consciousness, that is the right awareness about my own self. Who am I? This I thing is a big culprit. The way I see myself. So pure attitude first begins with my own self. What sort of pure attitude do I have towards my own self? So what sort of attitude do I have my own self towards my own self? So how do you see yourself? How do I see myself? Do I see, when I wake up in the morning, I'm enthusiastic and I see myself, oh, what a wonderful soul I am. What a wonderful being I am. Or do you see yourself and say, oh, another day has gone, I'm becoming old, or I have too much to do, I am too tired, wish I could organize my life in a different way? Do you have these kinds of thoughts? Or when you look at yourself, you feel that contentment, and there is no ego about anything. There is such purity inside. And the way you look at yourself, first you're giving respect to your own self, because one who cannot be in his self-respect, one who cannot give respect to him, his own self, how can I respect others? So it's this, the pure way of looking at me is very important. So looking at my elevated self, that looking at my qualities, looking at my inner beauty, looking at the wonder that I have. This is how I have to start my day. It's easy to look at others' virtues, but do you feel good about yourself when you wake up? Do you look at your own virtues when you wake up? Or you think it's natural, which is also wonderful. But creating that awareness every single day is also good. And living in that pure awareness of who am I. So getting rid of, if I feel not becoming someone who is like, internally there is stuff going on, but I'm just covering up because I don't have time to address it. I don't have time to actually nurture myself. No. So first, show pure attitude to your own self. So the first pure attitude towards yourself is shifting that consciousness to something that is elevated. Think elevated about yourself. That is pure attitude towards your own self. That I can do it. I am wonderful. I'm a pure being. I'm just not a soul, but I'm a pure soul. I'm an elevated being. I have these wonderful qualities in me. And nobody will come and tap me every day. Oh, you are wonderful. You did wonderful. No. Right? So I have to look at my own virtues and powers and use them. And not with, of course, not with ego of I. I am so and so. And then using that power which I have, the wrong consciousness in an egoistic way. So it's like how in the world today, people play a lot of power games. If you have a little power, you want to use it on others, right? Everywhere it's like that. Just a little power, somebody has it. It's like they call it as power abuse. So it's like you want to use it to control others, to manipulate things, or you want to control. Everyone wants to control somebody. Everyone wants to use their power in some way or the other, externally. Because I have power, I just want to do anything. So that's what I have to change, that consciousness of ego of I, not using my power in an abusive way, but in an impure way, but using my inner power to elevate myself, using my inner power, to have that self-growth, to have self-control. So I have to check how much of internal powers, internal virtues I have, I'm using first for myself. So this power that we have, inner power or inner strength, is not to use on others, but to first use on myself. Because we all face things. So one is that aspect where I'm using my power. So how do I use my power for myself? How do you use power for yourself? So it's like when somebody is getting angry towards me, it's not that controlling that one. So it's like controlling that one, meaning I'm using that power in an incorrect way, because I'm trying to control that person, which is not going to happen. But on the other hand, I'm actually using it inwards. I'm using my own power to control my own emotions at that time. What is going on when somebody is angry with me? What's going on inside me? What is that upheaval happening? So having that self-control over myself. Say somebody is lying to you. So one is using the power, yelling at them, right? Why are you lying? And you get angry about it. You get irritated about it. But using that power for my own self, to have that self-control, even if someone is lying, how do I actually handle with my inner power? So that sort of consciousness shift where I am using my own pure power to elevate myself. So in the world, actually, it's very slippery. Everyone, even they have a little power, even as parents, as mother, father, as teacher, as a boss, or anybody as such. We want to use that power on others. So pure attitude is first using the power of purity that I have, the power that gets generated from my peaceful thoughts, from my loving thoughts, use it for myself to control my emotions, to have that self-control. And so when I say self-control, it is also controlling my own thoughts, right? That's what, because we face a lot. There are many situations, but using that power to have that power to face, power to withdraw, power to have stable thoughts, and getting rid of the waste which I have. Because the more I keep any kind of waste, so I have to check myself. How is my mind? Is my mind like a dustbin? Uh, or a pure vessel, a clean vessel that carries knowledge, that carries, wonderful memories and aspects. So how is my mind? So I have to check with the awareness of a pure self, with looking at my virtues, my powers, the being that I am. I'm actually, creating those elevated good thoughts for myself. So the moment I have any kind of impure thoughts, it will deplete my energy. Impurity means becoming powerless. The moment you have impure thoughts, or thoughts of, what are impure thoughts? Thoughts of any waste. What happened? Why happened? This shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. Thoughts of anger towards someone. Thoughts of becoming angry towards your own self. So guilt aspect, So having guilt towards oneself is not a pure attitude. You're holding that guilt for yourself. You're holding some sort of anger to yourself. So purifying thoughts about your own self is where you're creating those pure thoughts. So each single day it is important, because we live in this world. There is a lot we face, we experience. And so to elevate yourself with those pure thoughts is very, very important. So check, how much do you create pure thoughts for your own self? It's not pure thoughts about others. That's another thing. When it comes to pure thoughts, we're always thinking about, may my children be good, my husband be good, my wife be good, this be good, that be good. But what about my own self? What pure thoughts do you create about yourself? Do you create waste thoughts for your own self? Check. After doing something, you keep going back and beating about it, like, I shouldn't have, I should have, this have, that have. All that is waste. And the more I'm creating waste, the less is my energy. Then my mind doesn't work, my intellect doesn't work. So each single day, am I increasing my inner power, my inner energy, my purity, or am I actually depleting my purity? Each day, am I thinking pure for myself, or am I creating impure thoughts? So how is my baggage inside? Is it like a wonderful, nice garden, an organized closet, or like a jungle of thorns? My thoughts are like jungle of thorns that are also pricking myself and others. And so pure attitude for yourself starts from your consciousness, the right awareness, having the right thoughts for yourself, elevated thoughts. No thoughts of this kind of waste thoughts, why, what, how. And then, of course, negative thoughts. Thinking negative about your own self. So just think, in the last, few days, did you think negative about yourself? If you thought, what kind of negative thought you had? And so negative thought will completely bring the energy down. Right? It creates such impurity inside. So impurity means always a burden, heaviness. Purity means lightness. When you have pure attitude, pure thoughts for yourself, there is a certain aura around you, certain lightness about you. And even when people come closer to you, they can feel it. They want to be in that aura. But when you're thinking negative, when you're thinking impure thoughts, there is a certain heaviness which is naturally felt by others. They don't even have to talk to you. It's like your vibration is touching them. Your vibration is making them feel like, let's actually stay away. That's why anger is such an impure energy. Whenever we have angry thoughts, we are creating such, negative aura for our own self. So check inside. They say, when we have any kind of negative thoughts going on, not just, of course, our mind has completely got polluted, impure, but our physical body too. Like this morning, I was reading an article which was wonderful. It said, you can cure any disease with the power of mind. If you keep your mind, if you program your mind, say, for example, he was talking about cancer, he was saying that if the moment your mind accepts and the mind believes that, oh gosh, I have cancer, I have this kind of disease, the moment it believes I have this disease, that's it. It's not just your body, your mind also has become diseased. So from then, your mind will only think about the disease. There is disease, I am diseased, I have this is going on. And so because I don't have, the energy got already contaminated and the thoughts are becoming negative. And so at that point, the mind is affecting the soul, affecting the body, affecting everything. And so I'm just making it more worse. And so he said, everything what your mind believes, if your mind believes that I'm a worst person, then nobody can help in the world. If the mind believes I'm a wonderful soul, if the mind believes I have the potential, if the mind believes I have such purity inside me, that's how my mind will start to operate. Now, move on a little bit more higher. We have been thinking about, oh, I have this nice qualities and this and that. But now move a little more elevated. So when I say elevated, think, a little more spiritual. Not just I have good qualities, but how about divine qualities? There is always a difference. There is difference between good and divine. So why can't I emerge that divinity within me? And I can do it because that's my original form. That's what I am originally. That's what internally I am as God's child. We all have that divinity, but we only want to stay near surface because we don't want to believe, because we don't see that inside us. And so we don't believe. We don't want to put us there thinking I'm divine. I'm not saying divine meaning saintly, you're closing your eyes and you're sitting. That's not, divinity is not a posture. It's an elevated, it's a pure feeling inside. It's a pure way of looking at yourself, where your energy is so high that is not just serving yourself, it's serving people around you, it's elevating people around you, it's lifting them as well. So think about this. I'm just not, good soul, wonderful soul, but I'm pure. That sort of divinity. Feel that. And the way you think about yourself, that's what you are. And that's what you become. That's what is the world that you will create around yourself. That's how you will maintain relationships, right? And so pure attitude to yourself is very, very important. And once I have that pure attitude towards myself, my aura actually, spreads to others, meaning my attitude is pure to others as well. So the second aspect is pure attitude towards others. How is my attitude towards others? First of all, having pure attitude. Yes, having pure attitude towards others is having good wishes and pure feelings for everyone. But check, do I have good wishes and pure feelings for everyone? Everyone? Not just few. Not just towards the ones who have good wishes and pure feelings towards me, but for everyone. But that's what is divinity, you see. No matter how someone is, having that real, pure, divine, good wishes and pure feelings for everyone. Sometimes we feel very hard, no? When somebody does something, someone behaves in certain way. How can I have those good wishes and pure feelings for this one? That all depends on my purity. That all depends on how pure I keep my, that sort of pure divine energy inside me. My pure attitude. The purity inside me brings that pure attitude towards others, no matter how they are. Because it's not just coming from it, because it's coming from truth. Because having pure attitude, purity is truth. It's a power. So it's coming from the truth. So how is my attitude towards others? So I should ask myself, is that my attitude towards others? Is that, people want to stay away from me? Or people would love my company, my aura? How do I think about them? First of all, I don't have to think a lot about others. Because the more I'm thinking, the more I'm actually drawing their energy. So it's not about having pure attitude, doesn't mean having good wishes and pure feeling, doesn't mean whole day I have to keep thinking about people. Let me have good wishes for them. Let me have good wishes for them. No, it's not about that. It's natural. It's very natural. It's like a neutral stage. It's like I do have naturally. It's not that I have to think about them. So how is my attitude? Is my pure attitude means someone who gives happiness to others? Happiness meaning? Happiness doesn't mean I have to give gifts, but just my presence would create that happiness. My presence would make them feel comfortable, not challenged. When there is ego, is impurity. And when there is ego, there is always, when people are around me, like, if I'm around people, it's like they feel challenged. They're not comfortable with my presence. They want to run away from me because they feel challenging something. It's like I'm ready to criticize. Such impure attitude. I'm ready to argue. I just don't want to listen to others. All these are impure attitudes. Even though if somebody does something, it's like, there is this habit of criticizing, behaving in an impure way. So somewhere impurity means like, impure attitude means giving sorrow. So as I said, pure attitude is like giving happiness. On the other hand, does my attitude give sorrow to others? So attitude is like subtle, no? I don't have to say, it's just my presence is making them feel uncomfortable. And just sorrow, it's like they don't want to be, like very heavy energy. So pure attitude. Let my attitude towards others be such that they feel light, easy, comfortable, happy, not challenged, putting them down. Attitude of like ego and anger, attitude of being bossy, control. All of these are very, very impure attitudes. And it's not just affecting others. First of all, it's creating such impurity inside me when I'm behaving like that with others. My attitude is like that with others. It shows how weak I am inside. It's showing my weakness. Though it may show, it's like putting a mask, but internally I'm so weak. Like if you remember one of the sessions we were discussing about, if I'm criticizing someone, it's actually coming from a space of insecurity. Somewhere I'm insecure about something. That's why I have the habit of criticizing, putting down others. So if I'm, showing this impure attitude towards others, it shows how weak I am, powerless inside I am. Right. So create this pure attitude for others. Let me not be a source to give sorrow or tension. Like somebody, I heard many years ago, this thing that he always, said, oh, like he always acted in such a way that, he created that fear in people. That, when he walked, the way he spoke, that everyone should be fearful of me. But, karma teaches such a lesson that one day in life, you yourself will become so fearful of everything. Karma always comes back. What I give, I have to be very careful what I give to others, because that I will carry for God knows for how long. To face that, until I face that consequence, I'll carry that burden of what I give to others. And so that's why it's important. Keep a pure attitude, pure relationships. In no relationship, no one should feel that fear, that ego from me. Clean. If I have something like that, let me remove it. Let me keep my attitude good, because it'll come back. So check. Every single day, spend even few moments, sending good wishes and pure feelings for every soul. Not just only for my family members, only they should be good. Let me give light and might only to them. No, for every single soul. That's pure attitude. Pure attitude also means being unlimited. You're not narrow. You're not like, only I'll think this much, You think for everyone. That is pure attitude. You're unlimited. Let it be for everyone. So that means there is no greed. Only I should have. Only my children, my family, only this one should have. No. That is not pure attitude. Selfless. Pure attitude is selfless. I give to everyone. I share with everyone. Just like God, no? I'm not God, but then I'm his child. So his task is my task too. So if he thinks about everyone, he bestows everyone. So I give to everyone too. And for that, remember, first is to have pure attitude to myself. A lot of purity, divinity inside myself. And so for that, every single day, spend some time. Don't say you don't have time, please. If not now, when will you do it? When will we do it if we keep saying, I don't have time? Saying I don't have time is actually deceiving myself. It's not having pure attitude towards time. And that's our third aspect now we are talking about. Pure attitude towards time. How do I have pure attitude towards time? One is saying, like time is listening to me. If I'm saying I don't have time, karmically it will become like that. One day I will really not have any time. I'll be so busy that I won't have time to even eat, or it's not the right kind of karma I'm creating, relationship I'm creating with time. I have to make time, and then time will also bless me because I use time in a worthwhile way. This is having pure attitude towards my time. Time is like my friend, so I'm using that time in a worthwhile way. Don't say from morning to evening, I'm only working, doing work. What is so much work? Okay, there is work. It's not that, we all are just sitting there. From morning, if we wake up, we have things. But if you don't take out time for yourself, that means actually your time that you're giving to others is not worthwhile. Because when you don't give time for yourself, caring for yourself, contemplating, having some spiritual time for yourself, then whatever you do for others, you just get tired, nothing else. At the end of the day, you'll only complain, I did so much for you, what have you done? Because I didn't follow the right method there. So it's like, never say I don't have time. They say there are time will also that will become my blessing, then I will never have time. Even though I want to take out time. There is plenty time I can take out. I just need to be aware. I just need to be, a little more organized in balance. So when we say, I don't have time, where are we spending our time if we really look at it? So take out time for yourself. That's very important. That's where you're creating a pure relationship with time, and time becomes your friend. And doing things on time is also important. That is also having pure attitude towards time. It's not that after time I will do it. After time, there is no time. So I'm actually doing it on time is also respecting time. Sometimes some don't have that sort of respect, meaning okay, if something, begins at some time, then you're going half an hour late, you're going, it's okay. But that's not the way. No, it's okay. Others will wait for me. No, it's not good. Anything I do, I have to learn to do on time. Then, so when we are talking about time also means this drama, that's going on, this play, this drama. Then time also will bless me when I do it on time. So time blessing me, meaning time will become my creation. I will be the master and the time will be creation. But if I'm always making the time wait for me, then time will become a teacher and teach me one day lesson. right? So sometimes we don't understand the consequence of, always being late, always not doing on time, always waiting until the last minute. That may be causing inconvenience to so many. So it's like somewhere I'm creating a karma, an impure karma there, certain impurity inside me. So respect time, do things on time, value time. And the most important thing is always remember time is beneficial. Everything that is happening. So like having a pure attitude is also valuing, like everything that's happening is for a reason. Everything is happening is benefit. It's like respecting time, not overthinking, and not, you know, like cursing time, and like why I'm here, like why this is happening, this shouldn't have happened, why time is showing me, giving me such hard times. We always say hard times, we are going through hard times. But also that mindset, as we were talking, the potential, the power of the mind, that even something is happening, if I have that, spirituality teaches me to have that feelings of benevolence towards time, meaning everything is happening for a reason and it's beneficial. So you may say, sister, it's easy to say everything is beneficial, but that's the reality. Somewhere or the other, I may see something not happening right, but I don't know in the bigger picture of drama, why that's happening. There is some benefit for sure. We lose something, we lose someone, we have something, we don't have. Everything is for a reason in the bigger picture, But if we sit with these questions, why not this, this way, that way, so I'm not being right with time, So one thing I learn in spirituality is time is beneficial. Time is beneficial. I program my mind. I tell my, because there is, even if I'm facing something, there is something, for some reason, it could be some settling or something. But it is not that God giving us hard time. That is another thing will be coming, the fourth, the last aspect. But time being beneficial. I'm just remembering a sweet story. Some of you must be knowing this story about, it's a story of, when I was a kid, I heard the story about Akbar and Birbal's story, how there was this king named Akbar, and he had a minister named Birbal. And so Birbal was he had a very positive attitude towards everything. No matter if something is not going right, also, he had always a positive attitude towards things. And so once Akbar and Birbal, they go, and a few others, they go on a hunting into the forest. And as they're hunting, the king, he gets hurt. And so when he gets hurt, Birbal says, oh, the king is feeling, like when we get hurt, we want others to acknowledge, oh, you got hurt, right? We don't like if anybody says, oh, good, you got hurt. We don't want to hear that. But anyway, so Akbar, when he got hurt, Birbal said, it's good, there must be something good in this. So the king gets angry. How dare you say this, that, I got hurt and you're saying there is some benefit in this? What kind of benefit? And so he's not happy with it. And he'll say to his, his soldiers to take him away, put him in prison. I don't want to see his face. I got hurt and he's saying it's good for me. What kind of good is this? So he gets aggressive about it, unhappy about it. He sends him off. And so now the king is, he continues to hunt. And as he continues to hunt, he's caught by some tribals. And so they capture the king, some of the tribals in forest, and then they take him to actually sacrifice, because the tribals are actually looking for some living being to sacrifice for their ritual. And so they catch this king to sacrifice him. And so now the king is captured. He's like crying for his life, where this little, hurt. He got so angry. Now his whole life got captured by these tribals. And he's like, oh Lord, what is this? And so, but the tribals, one thing, the tradition of tribals is when they sacrifice something, it has to be perfectly fine. They cannot sacrifice something which is bleeding or something which is already hurt or wounded. And so when they see him bleeding, they say, oh, you are not fit for sacrifice. And so why? Because you're already wounded, so we'll leave you. And so as soon as the tribals release him, he runs. He goes back straight to Birbal and he says, where is Birbal? Release him, where is Birbal? And he says, Birbal, you're so right. Everything happens for good. And he narrates the story. And so Birbal says, it's good you got angry towards me and you sent me off to prison. So the king asked, why? And so Birbal says, because if I was with you, they would have captured me. They would have sacrificed me. And so it's good that, you sent me off. So just remember that story, that how everything happens for good, they say. So there's a tie, that pure attitude towards time that I would create, that there is benefit, and not go into too much of waste and impure and angry thoughts, or, thoughts of aggression, but, creating these, relationship, these thoughts that, it is beneficial. And be patient, because life always shows, the reality. And then the fourth aspect, of course, the most beautiful and important, the pure attitude towards God. And so what is this pure attitude towards God? Having pure attitude towards God is actually taking out time for him. Don't you think so? You as parents, and if your children don't take out time for you at all, how you feel? Like if they don't listen to you, how do you feel? You're like, what kind of attitude is this? You don't have time for your parents, right? You feel that way, right? In the same way as God. Why? Because he's our eternal parent. The first relationship that the soul has with God is, he's my parent, my eternal parent. And how can I not take out time? So taking out that time for him is, creating that beautiful relationship with God. I can't say I don't have time for him, but then I want everything from him. I have all plentiful of desires and I want him to fulfill my desires, but I don't have time to sit for some time and have this pure remembrance. Have that experience. Sometimes we become too selfish, right? We want God to do everything for us, but we don't have time for him. How that's possible? That's not a relationship. So pure attitude towards God is also going to him without any desires. No desire. All I want is to experience you. That's a pure relationship. Because when I experience him, naturally all my desires will be fulfilled. Having too many desires is also impurity. Because you're caught in the web of desires. Always, I want this, I want that. I'm chasing after something or the other, which makes the soul absolutely tired. Having too many desires is deceiving myself. So check. Am I chasing after this desire? Do I only approach God because of my desires? It's like, did I get caught up in the web of my own desires? I want, I want, I want. To create this beautiful relationship with God that, without any desires. Because sometimes we limit having desires. Maybe God wants to do for us this much. Maybe when I have desire, I limit myself. Who knows? Maybe instead of getting a whole big treasure, I may end up with little because of my desire. He'll say, okay, if this is your desire, let me fulfill. But when he gives, he bestows, because he's the ocean. Right? Even with time, it's like that. I want this, I want this. So maybe time and God wants to do something big for us. But when we have desire, we end up with little. So have that unlimited pure attitude towards God. Give that time, go beyond your desires, experience him, experience your beautiful relationship, because he is the purifier. Who is actually the source of all the purity is God. If I want the power to create pure thoughts, if I want to be good and have good wishes and pure feelings to someone who is not nice, and something went wrong, still I have the approach of having everything beneficial towards time. If I want to do all of this, then my connection with God is the most important. That's why we all call him the purifier. He's the ocean of purity. When I'm with that ocean of purity, naturally the soul, all the impurities of the soul, the waste, the negative thoughts, the weak thoughts, everything just finishes. The soul gets filled with that pure essence, pure power, where I have the capacity and power to think pure, to behave pure, to have a pure attitude. So the most important thing, as the first, we begin with pure consciousness and pure awareness, and we tie up with this aspect, this practice of having that pure relationship with God to experience a very pure attitude, which completely nurtures our life, which brings growth and also benefits the self and also others. When I nurture myself, others are naturally nurtured. Right? When I take care of a plant, it grows into a tree and it benefits everyone in one way or the other. So let my life be nurtured by pure attitude. Om Shanti. So any thoughts you have, any questions or comments? Anything that
Hi, sister.
Maybe I didn't. Yes, Gabby. Hi.
No, you covered everything. That was a lot. That was really good. No, I think something that always comes up for me, like with every topic, is that I agree with you and I'm like taking notes. And, on the paper, it's like 100%. But I feel like, in life, it's difficult to do it like all the time, because I feel like usually I have a good attitude, like usually towards myself, usually towards others. I try to make time for God. I try to be positive with time, but it is very difficult. Like, how can we, do something 100% of the time? So I do feel like, whenever you said some things, it's like sometimes, like sometimes we don't always have a good attitude towards other people, or sometimes, and we know it's like, no, don't do that. But it's challenging because it's like, you're trying, but to keep something up 100% of the time, it seems, I don't know, not possible all the time. What do you think?
So there are two things. One is that when you're preparing for, when you're studying, when you're educating yourself, there is always a test paper. Because without a test paper, I can't declare myself, I passed, teacher, promote me to the next.
Mm-hmm.
It will say, no, you have to. But it's not that God gives us problems and God gives us test papers and God gives us, this is one of the misconceptions that we have, that, we are tested, we are tested by God, God gives us problems and difficulty. Difficulties to face, and but it's not about God doing it. I have to actually remove that from my mind. It's my own efforts, because say if you're making an effort, it's like, let's take the example of becoming a diamond. In the process of becoming a diamond, the diamond will have to go through a lot of pressure, otherwise that sparkle won't come. Even a sculpture, when he's creating a sculpture, he has to, finely hammer it. The more finely he hammers, the more beautifully the product comes out, the idol comes out. So if we say no, don't hit too much, then even if he has to make it really clear and a beautiful idol, like nose, eyes, he has to do that chipping, right? He has to do that hammering. In the same way in life also, when I'm practicing something, when I'm making that effort to be good, it's like I'm becoming an idol. I'm becoming that diamond. And so in that process, I will experience things, because we are not living in the world which is 100% positive. Then we don't have to make this effort. There are things will come up. There are people who will come up. There will be things that I would, I'll have to adjust. I'll have to face. I'll have to, use my powers. So otherwise, there is no becoming. You know what I mean? And also, every time there is something that's coming in front of me, is to shape myself to become that beautiful idol. Because I already have that extra baggage inside me. So when difficulties or situations come in my life, I'm noticing I still have them. So it's all about, it's a process. It's a process of learning, checking, changing, cleansing. There is already something, okay, it's a process of dissolving, finishing something, accumulating, positivity. So it's a process. So in this process, things will happen. So sometimes you're 100%, sometimes you're not. So I accept the process, but I should never come out of the process. The moment I leave the process, then there is no becoming.
Yeah.
So this is my destination, in that I stay with the process. I keep doing, because I have to get there. So if everything was well, there is nothing like becoming then. And one of the other thing is that we forget a lot, because we live in a very intense world right now. And so we go to work, there is so much intensity. As soon as you wake up, there are things rushing and running around you. And so we have the habit of forgetting. And so I have to create methods so that I can remember, because nobody will do that homework for me. It's my process. I have to create methods to remind and keep doing it again and again. So it's like stay in the field, keep playing this game. Because there is sometimes victory, sometimes defeat, sometimes it's there. But the moment I leave the field, it's over. There's no game. So that's what is spiritual. That's what is, anything. I mean, any field, when you're learning anything in life, there are always challenges. There's never that, that everything goes 100% perfectly fine. It's never like that. So in the making, or in the big, becoming that divine self, or that pure self, having that pure attitude, there are things, I go through. But it's not that I would get disappointed. I would keep playing this game, keep continuing. Yeah.
Thank you. No, it's so true. I usually say that about other things, about like physical activity, or about, I always, I'm always like, we need to practice. That's the only way,
Yeah.
you get, you progress. So it's funny. I didn't think about it, in when we're working on ourselves and when we're in the spiritual practice. So that's very helpful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
No, I mean, what you said is also very true, because when it comes to others' problems, we are very easy. It's very easy, and we are very ready to give all solutions. But when it comes to ourselves, we forget. You know?
Absolutely.
We forget. And so again, it's like, yeah, but it's a process. We all learn. We all are in different, we do it at different pace. But yes, we have to keep doing.
So good.
Yeah. Yes,
Om
Lord.
Shanti, sister.
Yes, Om Shanti, brother.
Uh, Thank you for the valuable talk. I enjoyed it. It was very well explained. Very well explained. Incredible. So my simple understanding, very simple understanding, I don't know whether it is correct from your talk today, is that we all should think good, right? See good and do good. Very simple understanding.
Mm.
Can I say like this?
Maybe we can change the term to pure living. You said pure thinking, right?
Yeah,
Instead of
pure
good, maybe
thinking.
we can replace it with pure
Pure
thinking,
thinking, yes.
pure way of speaking, and pure attitude or actions. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I was saying, good is good, but let's
Yes.
elevate ourselves.
Yeah, elevated to the pure.
Pure or divine.
Uh-huh.
So
Yes.
that's a little, it has a different
Elevated thought. Thank you.
feel to it.
So,
Yeah.
it was so nice. Very well explained. Thank you, Sister Om Shanti.
Thank you, Om Shanti.
Sister Madhvi, I
Yes,
agree
Lord.
with Gabi, of course, and I have the same thing or the same thinking. But it looks like the more I meditate with you, or with myself, it's just the more I find that it's a never-ending process.
Mm.
It's like it's always like something, somebody, some event that is gonna come in between, even if we think we are the purest, which I'm not. So so it's not for the sake of as you said, arriving there, but just for the sake of becoming. And it's always like endless, like going there, getting purer and purer, and trying to get like, or to bring other people around us like in the same level, or trying to help, uh, I don't know, our friends, our family, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, let's say I find myself in like difficult situations all the time. For example, I'm trying to service a computer and it's taking like a month for them to kind of get the service to me and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
every time I call, even I shouldn't even, I feel like yelling. I feel like, because nothing is working. It's like, people don't kind of, respond in the same way. And pandemic made things even worse.
Mm.
So, but at the end of the day, I just go like, okay, they are souls too. They have their own issues. They have their own things. So I'll give it another try. So it's a process, even in my own mind. I'm not ready to kind of let it go completely because things are not getting done.
Mm.
But in the meantime, what I can do, I might make it even worse if I bring my attitude up, which I did sometimes. I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. And at the end of the day, we've got to keep up like doing it, meditating, practicing, because I feel like I'm never gonna get there. So that means that practicing never meant to stop.
But you see, Loretta, that's, you have to create a pure thought. I will get there.
Okay. So you
This is the
think I'll
whole
get
point
there?
of this session, that,
Oh my
it's
God.
not even just thinking I'm not yet there. I don't know if I'm going to be a pure soul. No, no, no. A pure thought is I am right now. I am a pure soul. Rest all is secondary. That's it. Whether I am
Okay.
behaving in a pure way or not, or what. But my consciousness, first of all, I have to hold. I am a pure soul. I have the purest intentions. In the next class, we'll be talking about actually intentions. It'll be interesting how intentions, pure intentions. But I am a pure soul. Because if I don't see myself like that, I won't act like that. What I, as I said, what I think, I am what I think. That is very, very true. If I'm not thinking I'm a pure soul, then I will not act purely. But that's where the first practice comes to change my consciousness. I am pure. You have to, like,
That's interesting.
yeah, because you see, as I was talking about the gentleman talking about the article about the cancer, right? How he said,
Right.
you have it, but the moment you program your mind that this is not a disease, I do not have it, and then the way your mind starts to work is a complete different way. But the moment you program your mind, I have it, then that's the route I'll take. So in the same way, if I'm thinking that I'm not a pure soul, then I will not act or talk or think pure. But if my consciousness itself, I'm taking that I am that, and then I get that strength. Because I'm that, I will emerge that purity inside me. Because originally, eternally, we all are pure. We have it, that DNA deep inside us, we have it. All we have to do is keep reminding it, invoking it, emerging it, because I have it, I have it. All I have to do is emerge it, and the more I am aware, it'll come out. But I forget and I don't believe I am, then it'll stay dormant. So this is what is the whole thing about spirituality, that your first change your consciousness, change your awareness, because you are that. And you are in the process of becoming what you are, just going back to your original self. So you are already that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I lost it during these times. It's like challenging times.
No worries, we all experience that. But this is what it is, they say have your aim and travels towards your aim, meaning like in Hindi, it's a good wording. It says a lakshya and lakshan. So when you have your lakshya in the sense, have your aim and create a roadmap towards your aim, like, lakshan, and then automatically those virtues, that behavior will come out. It's like if I think I'm a king, a king, he knows he's in the awareness, he's a king, so that royalty naturally comes. So in the same way, that awareness, my awareness has to be elevated. Elevated awareness is the first and foremost thing towards pure attitude.
Thank you.
Sure, Loretta. Anybody else wants to share anything?
Sister, it's Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. I just wanted to comment on when you were talking about, your negative thoughts. So when I just remembered, I yesterday met a friend that I hadn't seen in like 2 weeks, and that person asked me, how was your day? And I think the first things that came to my mind that I shared were like, I had a doctor's appointment. So then I was telling my friend I had this problem with my foot. And then I had said, I had a coworker. And then my mind went to that. And it wasn't even that day. It was the day before. So I said, no, I had a coworker that was like cursing over my head. And I was like, and I thought, why am I repeating that? That happened yesterday.
Right.
So I feel like, I like what Gabby was saying, like her analogy of sort of like, a workout, a physical practice. And I thought, yeah, I need to practice like bringing up things that are positive, because I could have said, you know, my day was mostly stress-free except for the doctor, and then I came and spoke about first. And then I could have said like, oh, you know, I was thinking about seeing you tonight and make that person feel nice, and you know, and just saying other things like I was listening to nice music and I pretty much accomplished everything I needed to accomplish, but none of that came to my mind.
You see, that's what it is. We tend to actually slip into our old sanskars or old way of, you know. So yeah, it's have to keep shifting it back. But it's good realization, Kathy. Very good realization.
Yeah, because I thought, oh, that was not the best thing to share first, you know, at the first, you know, when you're meeting your friend. But anyway, yeah, I have to work on that. I have to like think about, you know, I think consciously think of it too, because, you know, I don't even, it just whatever thoughts pop into your head first is what you start speaking about, I think. So that sort of popped in my head first. But
you see, even the habit of, you know, talking something which didn't go right is also like a habit. Meaning, how did that habit form? Because we did it over and over. It's not once, we did it many, many times, you know. And so because of doing many, many times, that has become a habit. So in the same way, if I keep switching back to positivity, to pure again and again, then it becomes a habit. So I have to keep creating that habit of, you know, the choice of habits, what I want actually, where I want to be.
Right.
So, you know, we complaining and going back to negativity or doing those things is just a habit, nothing else, because we did it many, many times.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I have to shift that, but it's good. Yeah, now I'm realizing, oh, that is something that I do, you know, but okay.
But you see, that realization also came because you're practicing meditation. You're doing something that is elevating the soul. And that's where that awareness came. Kathy, what are you doing? You could have done this way, you know?
Right.
Otherwise, in the world, people don't have any kind of awareness. It's the same old story every single day. No realization.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And so when we say realization, it's like, you know, realize, you're seeing through real eyes, you know?
Yeah.
So your real eyes are looking at it. Yeah.
That's a good way to put that. Yeah. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Anybody else wants to say anything? Okay, so that's wonderful.